back to another lesson with Mr. Fieck. Today we're going to continue on talking about multiplication, traditional standard algorithm multiplication, considered the old school, the way we learned how to do it, part one. And today we're going to get into looking at multiplying a multi-digit number by another multi-digit number. So the learning target for today is that you understand partial products for multiplication or a standard algorithm, and most importantly, why the steps that I show you today work. Okay, so let's start today by doing 24 times 18. And so if I were to set this up doing the area model, I would make my 2 by 2 and I would start it by 20 plus 4 and 10 plus 8, and I would make this a 2 by 2 grid because I have two double-digit numbers. So now I'm going to kind of go through and kind of go back and forth between the standard algorithm and the area model over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my bottom number in the ones place and multiply 8. You can also call this, I call it the bow tie method, because at the end you should have a bow tie. So I'm going to do 8 times 4 is 32. So just like when we talked about standard algorithm with a one-digit number, I'm going to put my 32, I'm going to put my 2 and carry my plus 3. Okay, then I'm going to go 8 times 2 is 16 plus 3 is 19, and there's nothing else to add. So I put my entire 19 down here. So now I'm going to go, well, and right now I just did, 8 times 4 is 32. And then I really did 8 times 2, but that 2 is 20. So 8 times 2 is 160. Or 8 times 20 is 160. So right now, these two added together get my 192. Okay, now I'm going to go to the 1 in the tens place on my bottom number. And because it is a 1, it's a 10, I go to the next line. You always go to the next line when you go to the next place value, and I fill this in with a 0 because I'm multiplying times 10. Then I go 1 times 4. Well, it's really 10 times 4, which is 40, and that's why you put the 0 here. And then I need to go 1 times 2, or 10 times 2, or 10 times 20, because that 2 has a value of 20. 10 times 20 is, or 1 times 2 is 2, or 200, so I put a 2 in the hundreds place. So then if I go back to the area, 10 times 4 is 40, which I have right here. And then 10 times 20 is 200, which I have the 200, 2 in the hundreds place right there. And then the next thing I would do in the area model is add these up. Well, I do the same thing over here. I just, now that all my place values are aligned, standard algorithm addition, 2 plus 0 is 2, 9 plus 4 is 13, so I put a 3, carry the 1, 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4, so my answer is 432. Now, if I added all these up, well, again, this would be 192, and this would be 240, and I add them all up, and it would be the same thing, because those are the same numbers I got. That would be, 2, that'd be 13, and carry, and that would be 4, so 432. So I got the same. Okay, let's do one more example looking at it and comparing it to the area model. So I'll set up my area model, and it's a 2-digit by 2-digit, so I'm going to have a 2 by 2 grid and start with 30 plus 6 for my 36, and 10 plus 3 for my 13. Then I'm going to start with my 3 that's in the ones place in my bottom number. 3 times 6 is 18. I put my 8 and I carry my plus 1. And then 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, and I have nothing else to multiply there, so I just put my whole 10. So, and really what I did was I focused on this 3 here, so 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 30 is 90, and if I added these two together, that would be my 108. Okay, now I'm going to the next place value. So the first thing I do is when I drop a line, I put a 0 there because now I'm multiplying by the tens place. So then 10, or 1 times 6 is 6, which 10 times 6 would be 6D. And then 1 times 3 is 3, or 10 times 30 would be 300. So 10 times 6 is 60, 10 times 30 would be 300. And if I added those together, that would get me 360. And now you just add. Place values are all aligned. We just add. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. So 468. And at the end, the reason I'm drawing these lines as I do it is you get what kind of looks like a bow tie. And if you have your bow tie, same thing up here, meaning you multiplied all 4 numbers, you end up with a little bow tie, which is why I sometimes call it the bow tie method. It's just a fun way to make sure that you multiplied all the numbers together. So this is part 1 of the video, just introducing you to multiplying a multi-digit by a multi-digit number. Today we're going to do a couple more sample problems. So if you think you got it, what I would do is I would try a couple problems like this, or pause the video and try it on your own and then go back, or just have your parents write a couple of multi-digit by multi-digit multiplication problems and see if you can do it. Okay, hope this video helped. Make it a great day, boys and girls.